Gambian police arrested over 213 suspected criminals in the past 2 weeks. And Gambia's female automotive providers vow to create more employment opportunities in mechanical field. Elsewhere, on its way back to recovery, Tunisian economy projects 3% growth amid the COVID-19 pandemic. These and more coming on the news text. Hello and welcome to the news text with me, Juldenya Suare. Many thanks for joining us, and now the news in detail. The Gambia Police Force has on Wednesday held its weekly press briefing to update the media on the Operation Zero Crime campaign. According to the officials, they have arrested over 213 suspected criminals in the past 2 weeks of operation. Binta Jallo tells us more of that in this report.
Every week, the Gambia Police Force holds a press briefing jointly with other sister forces. This week, they updated the media of the challenges and progress of their campaign, dubbed Operation Zero Crime. The common denominator of their operations is the significant arrest they continue to make. A 2-week operation that ended on 6th of June had seen the arrest of at least 213 suspects, but 33 of them have been released after they were found not connected to any criminal activity. And 62 others were immigration-related matters and were subsequently handed over to the Immigration for processing. 11 people were handed over to the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, while 107 suspects have been charged with various criminal offenses ranging from counterfeiting, money doubling matters to breaking and stealing. Most of these cases are currently being mentioned in court, while others are awaiting trial. The police PRO Superintendent Lamin Jai said the criminal rate has reduced comparing to when they initially started the operation.
When it comes to the rate of crime as far as Operation Zero Crime commencement is concerned, I think this is it's a known fact as at now. From the beginning of the Operation Zero Crime, when the talk about crime itself, I think, has reduced drastically as at now. And in fact, to support this, if you look at the number of arrests that we were making from the beginning of Operation Zero Crime, and as at now, you will realize that the numbers are dropping drastically, because at the beginning we were arresting in large numbers. We were arresting a lot of people because of the fact that that was the beginning of the operation, and it was also the time when a lot of reports we are receiving at our various police stations about crime are coming in. And so the more we went out to deal with these issues, the more it is going down. And as at now, our officers usually sort of certain areas, they patrol the whole 24 hours and they don't even make an arrest.
Meanwhile, the Deputy Public Relations Officer of the Gambia Fire Service and Rescue Services, Amadou F.M. Jai, debunked allegations of the firemen going to a fire scene with empty tanks. To him, it is suicidal for a fire officer to go out to a fire scene without water, adding that they will never go to a scene without having proper tools. Jai further outlined some of the hurdles they are faced with.
The fire service is an institution that is mandated to respond to any emergency that comes across their way. But the unfortunate thing that happens most of the time is there are certain unforeseen circumstances that we receive at the fire scene. Probably before the fire scene, there's a fire in Talinding or in Ibo town, we didn't have our number. Or we go to the fire scene due to traffic, we are told to leave the scene. So those are unacceptable things that we cannot condone anymore, and they are affecting life and properties in this country.
Since the start of the operations, about $379,650 had been collected by the Immigration Department as revenue from those 277 people that were handed over to the department by the Gambia Police Force. For iAfrica News, Binta Jallo.
Operation Zero Crime campaign making a lot of progress there. With that, we move on. Following growing concern over the shortage of coronavirus vaccines in the country, the government of Zimbabwe has assured its citizens that the COVID-19 vaccination will not falter. According to authorities, although there is a shortage of the coronavirus vaccines, the country is on the course to carry out vaccination programs. More of that in this report.
Since receiving its first consignment in February, Zimbabwe has been aggressively administering jabs in a nationwide drive. However, in recent weeks, some people who wanted to get inoculated have been turned away. Wilkins Hospital is one of the main vaccination centers, and previously there would have been long queues as scores of people came here to get inoculated. In recent times, though, activity has ground to a virtual halt, although authorities insist it's not because the vaccines have run out.
We want to give priority to the second dose to make sure that those who got the first dose get their second dose. The first dose, yes, as we are saying, supplies are dwindling, but we are expecting a bigger consignment in a very short time. As you know, there is a shortage of vaccines internationally. There is a lot of competitions going on. So right now we're just going through our procurement processes, and we are expecting in a week or a few days.
Over 1 million people have received their first dose of COVID-19 vaccines. The country plans to inoculate about 10 million people, and the finance minister had previously said the government would procure 1 million doses per month. Despite the current supply lag, officials insist the country is on course to fulfill its plans.
Let me allay fears of some in our nation who might think that the COVID-19 vaccination program is about to falter. It is not, and it will not. Government continues to place a high premium on preserving life. It continues to use its resources and the international goodwill it commands to access regular, adequate vaccines which enable us to maintain the vaccination tempo and thus save our people.
The government reiterated that the vaccines will be administered free and would continue to be rolled out on a voluntary basis.
From that report in Zimbabwe, we come back home because female automotive providers are female youth that vows to enhance talents to create opportunities, employment opportunities rather, in the mechanical field. Their primary role is to empower girls and women for transformative development through capacity building. This way, they hope to enhance livelihood through self-employment and breaking gender barriers in the male-dominated fields. We have more of that in this report.
Vocational and technical skill sectors are key factors for the attainment of social and economic development. As a result, groups like the Women Automotive Service Providers are seeking to bridge the gap of talents that are highly sought after by players in the sector, thereby raising employment opportunities for women and girls. Mariama Jeng, one of the automotive specialists, told iAfrica some aspect of her journey to a full-fledged nut and bolt expert.
The non-deaf automotive as a subject, say high school.
We used to offer automotive as a subject at my school. So through the way my teacher taught me, I built an interest on the topic. When I had a break from school, I decided to go on a mechanic training. With that training, I began to build more interest on the job because I used to be curious to know how the machines were being operated by mechanics.
Upon her trial periods, she recalled instances of peer pressure from friends and close contacts that could have switched her dreams away.
Like, I'm not suma bena harit bo hamne. She was like, "Yo ligi you go definitely."
I have a friend who was like, "This job is meant for men. Why are you doing this job? If you are doing this job, you won't be able to dress beautifully." I was like, "Not all jobs are meant for good looks. You should do a job when you have a passion for it."
Fatima Senghor, Chief Executive Officer of Fatima's Trading, called for support to these female mechanics.
Man anti Fatou pour won jigéeni Gambia yeb ne légui Gambian ci am nañ workshop.
Personally, I want to show the Gambian women that we now have female mechanics and we have our workshop as well. So let's come out and support our fellow women. If you have a car, bring it here for our service.
Although there are mechanics everywhere, engaged in different domains of the machine system, hardly are there females among them because the profession is seen as one of the male folk. In what appears to be like taking the bull by its horn, the female automotive service providers at Canifin Layout choose to be the women with difference in the country. For iAfrica News, I am Aistubi.
Well, a very big congratulations to our female automotive providers there. Now, Kenyan fishermen have teamed up to protect the endangered sea turtles and other marine species from climate change. These fishermen patrol the area every morning to rescue, rehabilitate, and release turtles found along the Kenyan coastline. We have more of that in this report.
The Tiwi Turtle Police is an organisation engaged in sea turtle protection on the southern coast of Kenya. The team consists of local fishermen who have received training on animal protection. These fishermen are responsible for managing a 12-kilometre stretch of beach. Every morning they patrol the area. If they find a turtle's nest, they first confirm whether the nest is in a safe place or needs to be relocated. They then build a fence around the nest and mark it.
Now we have 66 nests since from January 2021 up to now. We have 66 nests. So we are happy to see that the number of turtle is coming up, and we need tourism. When the corona stopped, we need the tourism to come and see the sea turtle.
When the turtles hatch, staff from the organisation ensure the newborns find their way into the sea.
Turtles are very important because, first of all, they are endangered species. And in our ocean here of East Africa, Indian Ocean, we have got 5 types of the turtles. There is some fishermen, they used to kill them to use them as a meat. And also they use, especially the green turtle, to use them as oil as a medicine. So in that situation, we saw that the turtle are going to be finished in the coast. The ocean is very important to be protected because of our climate changes. We can see the climate changes, pollutions, and also the sea current is changing. You can see there's a lot of sea grasses, seaweeds have been swept out from the ocean and comes out. So there is more important the ocean to be protected.
The Tiwi team also cleans up plastic garbage along the beach to prevent the potential threat to marine life.
That report will take us to our first break. Still to come is more local and international news. So stay tuned.
The pride we take in our brand, the work we put into constantly change the landscape and elevate real estate in the Gambia, it's compared to none. From inception, our goal was to add value to the beautiful Gambian landscape. That's why we are proud innovators of community estates. Kololi Sands is an exceptional piece of work, tailored for ultimate convenience and luxury, to bring you an element of finesse that is rare but unique in its own. This is also our pride and joy, and we welcome you to the exquisite beauty right here in Kololi and right here on the waterfront. Kololi Sands, feel the ocean breeze at your doorstep.
Welcome back. If you're just tuning in, this is the news text with me, Juldenjai Suare, and now to the rest of our stories. The civil society organization on elections has on Wednesday updated the media about their observation on the ongoing voter registration in the country. A team of 53 observers have been deployed in all 7 administrative regions to observe the general exercise so as to make their recommendations. The ICC reports.
Voter registration is one of the key elements of elections as it gives citizens the mandate to choose the rightful candidate through their votes. Following the start of the registration across the country, civil society organizations stationed its members in various regions. Their job is to observe the process and manner in which voter registration is being carried out across the country. Lamin Jahate, steering committee member of the organization who represented the chair of the organization, gave a summary on the observations made during the first week of the registration.
The general registration exercise is taking place in a generally peaceful and calm environment, with no incidents of violence and restriction of political agents at the registration centers. The majority of registration centers visited open on time, except for the first day, where most centers open about half an hour late due to delay in setting up the registration centers. The voter registration exercise was also delayed in the first 2 days by technical issues, notably the difficulty in printing voters' cards. In most registration centers, other equipment such as generators were temporarily faulty.
As party agents are present in most of the registration centers, the coalition observed that these party representatives are not fully oriented and are poorly equipped for the exercise. However, the civil society coalition has made some recommendations to the different stakeholders, including the IEC, in promoting free and fair elections.
The IEC should be proactive in addressing the issues that are emerging in the general voter registration exercise promptly. This includes providing information to clarify most of the information in the public sphere. The issue of attestation being given by the mayor of Banjul has proven to be contentious. In order to manage the situation, it is necessary that the IEC issues a public statement to clarify its decision in giving such authority to the mayor of Banjul.
Famare Jawane, executive director of Baikanyakafu, urged non-Gambians to stay away from the upcoming election.
If anyone knows that you are not a citizen of the Gambia and you are not qualified to acquire the voter's card, please stay away from it. This is very important, and this is the position of the coalition. Because at the end of the day, it's going to create problem in this country in the future. If you know you are not a Gambian and you are not qualified to acquire this voter's card, please stay away from it.
This report is meant for stakeholders to utilize the recommendations, including the IEC, political parties to adjust themselves accordingly.
Of recent, Gambians have raised concern over the alleged issuing of voters' cards to minors. This has made the public to cast doubt over the work of IEC in conducting proper election. This is the first presidential election since the ousting of the former President Jammeh in 2017. As a result, free and fair election is what citizens expect from the IEC. Reporting for iAfrica News, I am Desise.
CSO's Coalition on Election updated the media on their findings on the ongoing voter registration process in the Gambia. Now, Tunisian economy is projected to grow by 3% in 2021, despite the impact of the coronavirus global pandemic. As a result, the Tunisian authorities launched an online platform geared towards supporting the most vulnerable. Detail in this report.
Tunisia is hoping to jumpstart its economic recovery after a sharp decline in 2020 caused by the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic. The country's Economy, Finance and Investment Development Minister said the government is optimistic about post-pandemic recovery this year and in 2022, buoyed by rising inoculations in the world.
The repercussions of the COVID-19 pandemic will continue and affect more businesses and sectors. It's weakened the government's financial means and affected the population. However, GDP is projected to expand next year after a sharp decline amid the health crisis. The situation will certainly improve in the next few months.
The Paris-based Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development, OECD, said the labor-intensive services sectors are critical for Tunisia's recovery. Authorities in Tunis have already launched an online platform to support the most vulnerable groups and people who have lost their jobs during the pandemic. The number of recipients is about 1.2 million families.
Our aim is to boost the national economy by supporting individuals whose businesses and earnings were affected. This exceptional relief fund will finance household incomes and increase private consumption. This initiative is in line with the state's economic relief program during and after the pandemic.
The OECD report stressed that the tourism sector is one of the most affected sectors by the health crisis. The North African nation's tourism revenues plunged 55% during the first 4 months of 2021 compared to the same period in 2020. Experts say the national vaccination drive will revive this vital industry and create new jobs.
Tourism is completely devastated due to travel restrictions, lockdowns and layoffs. Now that the vaccination campaign is underway, hotels are reopening and hiring. We do not expect 100% of tourist resorts to be operational this year, but tourism revival will boost the economy and contribute to GDP growth in the next season.
Ratings agency Standard & Poor's expects a modest recovery of 3.8% in 2021 after last year's sharp GDP contraction. The fund has, however, warned that Tunisia's debt to GDP is forecast to grow to 91.2% this year from 87.6% in 2020. According to the National Institute of Statistics, Tunisia's weak economy has been hit hard by the pandemic, with GDP contracting 8.8% last year. Authorities aim to improve the investment climate and boost exports while bringing the health crisis under control.
That story brings us to the end of the news text. But for more news, join us in our subsequent news bulletin. Many thanks indeed for the pleasure of your company, and do have a nice day. Bye-bye.
CAF Africa Global is the first and biggest private estate developer in the Gambia and present in 7 other African countries. We take pride in leading innovation in all spheres of real estate sector in the Gambia and beyond. As such, we are launching the development of the first smart and modern office